Hey there, welcome to this video on practice question number 1 for fill in the blanks. So in this video, I want to show you a practice exam question, and I want to do this in front of you in the same way that you would do this if you were to be sitting in the IELTS exam. So this particular set of questions have been taken from the Cambridge IELTS book number 8, test number 3, and this is from reading passage number 1. So because this is reading passage number 1, you can expect the questions in this part to be easier. Usually the questions in passage number 1 are easier than questions in passage number 2 and 3. Because as you might remember, the level of English that you need to answer the questions correctly gets progressively more difficult. So what we're going to do is to start answering these questions. We're not going to be starting here with the reading passage itself. We're not going to do that. We're simply going to go straight to the questions. So we're going to go down to this question set over here. So these are our fill in the blank questions. And right here, we've got these 3 questions. So the first thing that we're going to do to answer these questions is we're going to identify the keywords. The keywords that we think are going to be easy for us to find in the reading passage. So I'm going to be highlighting some keywords now. In the exam, you won't have a highlighter, so you'll have to either underline the keywords or you'll have to circle them, whatever works best for you. But in this case, I'm going to highlight the keywords just so that you can see this better. And EPRI is our first keyword. It's going to be very easy to find this word. It seems to be an acronym for some larger word. So EPRI is going to be easy to find. This one is also going to be easy to find. Remember, any words that have names, names of people, names of places, names of location, or dates, for example, 2012, 2015. So names and places and dates, numbers, they're usually pretty easy to find. So those are the questions that you should ideally start with. So these are our 2 keywords so far. I'm also going to put financial support. That is also another keyword. And advantage is another keyword as well. And perhaps technique. Technique can kind of be a keyword. It's not going to be easier to find in comparison to DLs since that's a name. So I'm going to be looking for that first. And then for number 6, difficulty is a keyword. Our answer is going to be related to some kind of a difficulty or some kind of a problem. And laser. Not just laser, but also equipment. So laser and equipment, both of those are keywords. Great. So now that we have our keywords for all 3 of these questions, we have to identify which questions are going to be the easiest to answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to put a check mark next to the easy questions, and I'm going to do those ones first. So I'm going to put a check mark next to number 4 and next to number 5. So that way I know that number 4 and 5 are the easy ones. I'm going to do those first. And then number 6, I'm going to leave that one for last. Putting these check marks is not always helpful, but let's say if you have a long set of questions where you have more than 2 or 3 questions, if you have many questions, then using these check marks can be helpful because that way you can identify quickly which are the easy questions and which one you should be answering first. So feel free to use the check mark if it helps you. If it doesn't, then that's fine. You don't have to use them. So now that we've identified the keywords as well as the questions that we're going to start with, the easy ones, number 4 and 5, we can now go back to our passage and start searching for the keywords for this question first. This is one of the easiest ones. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to be looking for EPRI. So let's see if we can find that here. Okay, now I'm simply scanning now. I'm not reading every single word. I don't have the time for that. That would be a waste of time. So I'm quickly scanning. I'm kind of just glancing over the whole page. I'm glancing over the paragraph and just trying to find that word. There are many ways to scan. Like I mentioned, you can scan from left to right or from right to left horizontally. You can also scan vertically. You can scan up and down, up and down. That's also fine. Or you can scan diagonally across the page or across the paragraph. So choose a way of scanning that works best for you. Sometimes you might find that scanning horizontally is easier. Other times, scanning diagonally may be easier, or perhaps vertically. So put in some practice with this and you'll find out what method of scanning works best for you. So now you may have noticed that we've actually found our keyword, EPRI. We found a bunch of locations, a bunch of places where this keyword appears. So I'm going to start off by reading this sentence first, since this is where it appears. So let's begin. The technique survives to this day at a test site in Florida run by the University of Florida with support from the Electrical Power Research Institute, based in California. Okay, so right now I have not heard anything about financial support. That's the other keyword that I need. I have to find something related to financial support in order to find the correct answer. So since I did not find it in this sentence, I'm going to keep reading because this keyword also appears in the next sentence. So I'm going to read on. EPRI, which is funded by power companies. All right. So funded by or funded, that is a synonym language. That is synonym for financial support. That's just another way of saying financial support. So now that we have found our keywords, EPRI as well as funded, we know that this sentence right here is going to be our matching sentence. This is where we're going to find our answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some lines over here to represent our matching sentence. This is where we're going to find our answer, somewhere around there. So let's go back to our question and read it one more time. EPRI receives financial support from what or from who? So let's take a look. Funded by power companies. Power companies, those are the agencies that are funding EPRI. So there we have it. That's our answer. So I'm simply going to highlight this now. Power companies, since that is our answer, and we'll just put it in green color so that you can see this. Great. So power companies is our answer, and once you have found the answer, then you can simply put it here. You can either put it straight into the test booklet and then you can transfer your answers at the end. Not at the end of the test, don't do that. Don't do it at the end of the reading test because you're not going to get any extra time to transfer your answers. So it's best to transfer them as you answer these questions. So you have three different options. Either you can jot down the answer directly into your answer sheet. The other option is to put them here first, answer the entire question set, and then transfer those answers into your answer sheet. And the last thing that you can do is you can finish your first reading passage. Remember, there are 3 reading passages in total. So you can first answer the first reading passage, transfer those answers to your answer sheet at the end of reading passage number 1. Then you can do the questions for reading passage number 2 and then transfer the answers for reading passage number 2 and then repeat the same thing with reading passage number 3. So figure out whatever way works best for you. I would recommend that you first fill out all the answers in the question set. And then once you have answered that entire question set, for example, in this question set, there are only 3 questions, then you can simply go to your answer sheet and jot down those answers. That's my preferred way, but if you prefer a different way, that's also fine. Great. So now that we have answered this question, there is one last thing that we need to do here, and that is to simply jot down the fact that we found our answer to question number 4 over here. So I like to number these, and I especially like to number these for the questions that are in order. Remember, these fill in the blank questions always go in order, so that means that the answer to number 4 will come before the answer to number 5, and then the answer to number 5 is going to come before the answer to number 6. So you're going to find the answers to these questions in order. You're going to find them one after the other after the other. So if question number 4 was answered here, you're not going to find the answer to question number 5 up here. You're not going to find it up here because it always goes in order. Number 5 comes after number 4. Therefore, you're going to find the answer to number 5 somewhere after number 4. So let's go ahead and try to find the answer to number 5. So here we have our keywords advantage, technique, and DLs. So let's see if we can find any of that. Okay, I'm once again scanning. I'm not reading every single word. And right here, I see the name, DLs. So right here, we have found the name of the person, our first keyword. Here, the name appears once again. Okay, let's go ahead and read this sentence. Let's start over here, since this is the sentence in which the word DLs appears. Here we go. What goes up must come down, points out Jean-Claude DLs of the University of New Mexico. So we have not found our answer in this sentence, so we're just going to keep reading, since the keyword DLs also appears in the next sentence. So here we go. DLs is leading a project which is backed by EPRI to try to use lasers to discharge lightning safely. And safety is a basic requirement since no one wants to put themselves or their expensive equipment at risk. Okay, so we have to find something related to the advantage. So we have to specifically look for the advantage that this technique offers, that this technique that is being developed by DLs offers. So what advantage does it offer? It says that DLs is leading a project backed by EPRI to try to use lasers to discharge lightning safely. That seems to me to be an advantage, to use lasers to discharge lightning safely. And here we are talking about the use. So the correct answer would be is that it can be used to discharge lightning safely. However, take note that here it says that our answer cannot be any more than 2 words. So we have to find an answer that is no more than 2 words. So clearly we cannot say used to discharge lightning safely. That's just too many words. So actually the correct word, the correct answer is simply going to be safely. Safely. And that perfectly fits. The advantage of the technique being developed by DLs is that it can be used safely. So that answer fits perfectly, and that's what's going to be our answer for number 5. Safely. And we're going to come up here and just circle that word. You can circle it. I'm going to highlight it. So we know that that is our answer. And one last thing is I'm just going to put number 5 over here so that I know where I found my answer to question number 5. By the way, if it helps you, you can also underline. You can underline the matching sentence if it helps you to better identify the answer. You don't have to do that, but if it helps you, then go ahead and do that. So this is our matching sentence, and the matching sentence is where we have our answer. So we are now done with number 4 and 5, and our question number 6 is the last one that is now remaining. So let's go ahead and answer this. So we're going to be looking for keywords related to difficulty, some type of a problem or complication, and something related to laser equipment, laser and equipment. So let's see if we can find some sort of a difficulty, some kind of a problem that is happening when laser equipment is being used. So let's come up here. So we are looking for laser and difficulties. So since our answer to question number 5 is here, we are going to start looking for number 6 down here. Not up here, because these questions are in order. So number 4 is here, number 5 is here. That means that number 6 should be somewhere down here. And here we go. Take a look. The word lasers appears right here. And I see another keyword, laser, appearing over here. Anything else? That's about it. So one more laser over here. So it seems that this paragraph is about lasers. So let's go ahead and now look for something related to difficulty, because that is what we're looking for. We have to look for something that is related to some sort of a problem or some sort of a difficulty. So we are not just looking for any general information about lasers. We are looking for very specific information about lasers. We are looking for something related to difficulties and problems. So let's see if we can find that. Once again, I'm only scanning right now. I'm only scanning to see if I can find something related to difficulty or something related to problems regarding lasers. It seems that this part could be a problem. It seems that the electric field can become too strong and cause an uncontrollable surge. This seems to be talking about some sort of a problem associated with lasers. And here there is a solution. To stop the laser itself being struck, it would not be pointed straight at the clouds. So guys, notice that only now I'm starting to read this sentence. The reason I'm starting to read this sentence now is because I have found something related to lasers, and I have also found something related to difficulties. So that's why I'm going to now read this sentence. If a laser could generate a line of ionization in the air all the way up to a storm cloud, this conducting path could be used to guide lightning to Earth before the electric field becomes strong enough to break down the air in an uncontrollable surge. Okay. The main difficulty associated with using laser equipment is related to its... Okay, we are looking for a difficulty that is related to something that has to do with lasers, and I haven't found our answer here. So I'm going to read one more sentence. To stop the laser itself being struck, it would not be pointed straight at the clouds. Okay guys, I'm not finding my answer here in this paragraph. I thought that my answer was here because the word laser appears here and it seems to be talking about some kind of a difficulty over here, but it doesn't seem that my answer is here. I don't see it. So I'm going to keep moving on, and I'm going to look for the keyword laser in the following paragraphs, in the following sentences. So let's see if we can find that. So I'm going back to my scanning now, and I'm scanning, and here we go. The word laser appears here, and it also appears here, and okay, I'm gonna stop over here. I'm gonna pause over here, and let's see if I can find my answer here. So I'm gonna start reading this sentence since this is the sentence in which I found the keyword. The laser is no nifty portable. It's a monster that takes up a whole room. Okay, I think that we are starting to talk about a difficulty related to lasers. The difficulty seems to be that it is not portable. You cannot easily move it around. It's of a huge size, of a monster of a size, and it takes up the whole room, and this seems to be a problem, some kind of a difficulty. So let's carry on. I'm going to read one more sentence. DLs is trying to cut down the size and says that a laser around the size of a small table is in the offing. Okay, so he's trying to cut down on the size because it's too large. So let's go back to our question now. The main difficulty associated with using the laser equipment is related to its, what do you think? Related to its what? Related to the size. Because it's too large, it takes up the whole room. So the main difficulty is to cut down the size. So that's going to be our answer for number 6. Size. We're going to put it in green. And the answer here is size. Great. So we are now finished with this question set. We have answered all 3 questions. At this point, sorry about this, I just noticed this typo, so it should be safely. So at this point, once you have jotted down the answers in the blanks, it would be a good idea to now transfer your answers onto your answer sheet. So we are now finished, and right here I'm not going to be putting number 6. I could do that, put number 6 over here so I know where I found the answer to number 6, but right now it's not really necessary because I have already answered all the questions, so it doesn't help me to know the order because I've already solved all the questions. I've already answered all of them, so now I don't have to know which order they come in. I'm done with it, so I don't need that anymore. So if you've already answered all the questions, then you don't have to write these numbers next to the answers. And I know that not all students like to do this. Some students prefer doing this. I personally prefer doing this, but I know that there are other students who don't like to jot down these numbers. So I don't want you to do this if it doesn't help you. Only jot down these numbers if it helps you. If it doesn't help you, then don't bother with it. Then just answer the questions in your own way. The most important thing here is for you to be able to identify the keywords and then to locate those keywords in the reading passage itself. And then finally, to understand the synonym language. You have to be able to understand what the question is asking you for, and you also have to understand what is the correct answer that is going to fit into that blank. So those are the important things. You don't really have to worry about numbering over here or putting a check mark next to the easy questions. You don't have to do that. If it helps you, do it. If not, it doesn't matter. Okay? So I hope that this practice set number 1 was helpful for you to see how fill in the blank questions are answered. I want to show you one more example. So in the next video, I'm going to be doing another practice set, this time practice set number 2. So I'll see you there.